Recent studies show the better you were at meta ads pre-Andromeda, the worse you are now. And after studying the playbook of over 100 brands, I find that to be extremely true. You see, over the past 18 months, my ad creatives have been spending around $3 million per month. And I found the brands that are actually scaling all share similar traits to what the other brands are doing backwards. So I'm going to run through all of this with you today, from why running more ads right now might not work like you think it should, and the creative sequence to take one winning ad and turn it into 10 variations that actually scale. And it all starts from why these big brands spending millions of dollars a month aren't actually trying to profit on the first sale. This first thing that I want to talk about is understanding the number that you're actually bidding against. Now, we have clients that are spending, $12 million a month on ads, $3 million a month on ads. You look at Grunz, you look at IM8 and Seed and all these big supplement brands. One thing that these guys all have in common, everyone I just mentioned, is they can afford to lose money on the first sale because they have a high LTV, they've got either investment backing or they've just got a super dialed in subscription program and high LTV. So they can afford to lose money on that first sale. Now, that is really important to understand because depending on what industry you're going into, you need to be able to read the market. If you're launching a supplement brand in 2026, you better focus on LTV and trying to get that as high as possible so you can actually compete. Now, if you're in an industry that isn't quite as competitive, you're in a market that isn't quite competitive, you can have a higher target ROAS. When the costs start getting higher, there's less of an LTV play there. Like we have clients with target ROAS as low as 0.6, like those ones that I just mentioned. They're spending multiple 7 figures a month. But then we have clients who are spending, 100K, 200K, up to like 400K a month, who actually have ROAS from 2 all the way up to like 5, 6, 7, between that range. Now, the difference is the market, the industry, competitors, and the actual product itself. Like some products just don't lean into LTV. Some products actually have super high costs. Some products can charge more because it's like a tech wearable or, a seat cover that's kind of premium. Like some things just cost more money and therefore you can have a higher ROAS basically. Now that's something that's really important to understand because if you don't understand that, then you're going to be really struggling. You're going to be down a creek without a paddle, we like to say in England, because you can make better landing pages, you can make better creative, you can even make super wild claims in your ads. But if you're competing with a supplement brand in that kind of industry and you're trying to get a 2 or 3 ROAS, it's going to be very difficult for you. Is it impossible? No, we have clients doing it right now, but I'm saying when you want to scale to these multi-million dollar months, it's going to be difficult to do. So really understanding what you're actually bidding against is super important. It's super important to understand because that sets a foundation for your targets. And it's just a case of if you are in one of these competitive industries, you need to actually brace yourself for that. You need to increase your LTV. But the next question is what you're actually putting in front of people when you're spending. So what do the ads look like? What is the messaging saying? Because when you look across all of our client accounts, the gap between them and like what everyone else is doing is pretty huge. Now, let me open up my ad library right now. So I've just pulled up brand. I quite like this O Positive ads. I quite look at these because they push a boundary. It's obviously a health and wellness brand for women. We just pulled up the ad account here. Actually, the meta ads view on Trend Track, and you can see the amount of live ads here is kind of slowly gradually increasing and standing steady. It started about 200 and it went quite high. Now after Andromeda, you don't need a crazy volume of ad creatives, but what you can see here, so these guys are obviously scaling well. Now if you look at the analytics, I don't know how accurate it is, but they're getting about 2 million visits. These will be scaling very nicely. They've got 400 ads in the ad account. Now looking at our client ad accounts, they have anywhere from a smaller brand, 100 ads, really the low end, to the bigger brands. They have 1,000, 2,000 live ads in some of the bigger brands as well. Now the reason that I run you through this is because it shows you how important ad creatives are in 2026. The biggest thing to kind of look for are, okay, these brands haven't just jumped to this high number of 400. They started down here in the 200s and they went from 200 to 400. It was a methodical approach. So testing personas based on the customer data, testing these different personas across proven formats, and then systematically scaling what works. Now, I guarantee if you go to a smaller brand's ad account, they'll have 30, 40 live ads in there, and that shows they don't have the creative systems to be able to iterate. They're starting from scratch every single month. And to be quite honest, the biggest problem with the brands that are sitting at the 20, 50, less than 100 live ads in the ad account, it isn't the fact just the low volume. That is one issue. But usually these are also the ones that are repeating the same message over and over again, and they also have a couple couple of winning ads, 1 to 5 winning ads that are basically carrying the whole ad account, and then they're repeating the same creative formats as well. So it's basically just an echo chamber of saying the same thing with the same visuals to the same people, and frequencies rising, click-through rates getting worse, and as a result of that, ROAS CPA is getting worse, and they're having to bring ad spend down as well. And then people will hear me say this and they'll think, okay, well, let me just put tons of volume into the ad account. But after Andrometer, volume does not work as a strategy. Every single ad actually needs to be meaningfully different. So it actually needs to register as a different ad. So you need to be testing angles across different creative formats. And then when you're making variations, also making them different enough to register as a different ad as well. And this is why brands are coming to me after Andrometer for the past 6 to 12 months and they're saying, Adam, I've increased creative volume, but there's not enough variation in there, and ad performance has actually got worse. And that's why quality beats, volume in 2026. By the way, if you want my team to look into your ad account and basically map out if volume's capping your growth and if you should be introducing new angles, what angles they should be, and what creative formats we think will scale your brand to the next level, and then how we'd build these systems out, just click the first link in the description, book a creative planning call with us. It's free, and we'll basically lay out a plan for you. We can take a look inside your ad account and go from there. Now let me keep going. So here's a quick example of one of our creative trackers, and I've got it on screen right now. This is what we're basically using to track the ad creatives. Now we have an actual version of this inside our own Media Engineered app, but this is an example that you can use. It's mediaengineered.com/ad tracker, or just tracker, double check that. And basically in here you track every single ad by format, by the type of ad, the status, the product, the concept, angle, avatar, awareness level, creator details, the creator, all the way over to landing page comments and everything like that. Now the biggest benefit of this is you can begin to spot patterns in the ads. So you can see, okay, awareness levels working best, what angles working best, the avatar that's working best, and you can begin to iterate. You can begin to sort the ads by spend and create angle leaderboards from this as well. So okay, what are the most winning ads, and rank those by angle. And now when you also create a column in here to turn this into a naming convention, upload that into meta ads, that's when you can start using this with like AdNova or Motion Analytics to really reverse engineer the data in your ad account. So with that creative tracker in mind, you need to basically find the building blocks of your ads. So the angle, the awareness level, the avatar that you're talking to. Now to do that, we have a very methodical process that we like to follow. First of all, we'll be looking through your customer reviews. So when we're looking at your customer reviews, we're looking at, super emotionally charged language, we like to say. So someone who's actually, fully giving it their all inside these comments, because these are the ones that matter. These are the avatars that are really going to be buying your product. They're showing their emotions in the reviews, basically. Now, what you want to do is you can use AI to basically consolidate all your customer reviews, and then you can begin to rank them. Make sure it's quoting it by exact language using the reviews as well. And you basically want it to rank these different personas and consolidate them and rank them by what crops up the most. Once you have some specific angles, language, personas that you found in your customer data, then you want to turn that into a strategy, into an ad. So to do that, you can go and get more ammunition using manual research. So looking on places like Reddit, looking on the comments on organic posts as well, and basically trying to figure out, okay, how can I turn this small review that I've got into an engaging ad, into a story? Because some of our best performing ads have came from ads that are storytelling. And depending on the format, that might be a really crucial component of your ad as well. So basically taking that customer data and thinking, how can I turn this into a story? How can I make this an interesting ad? What format can I use as well? So looking inside your own ad account, looking inside of organic TikTok posts, organic Instagram posts, and basically figuring out, okay, how can I take this customer data? How can I package this into an interesting story, into an ad, and how can I make it look visually engaging as well? And then once you've got all of that, it's quite easy to fill in that creative tracker. Then when you find an ad that actually works, you'll iterate on it by taking that angle and testing it in different formats, or taking the format and testing that with different angles as well. Now, the flip side of this is those brands that are really deciding they need more volume, they need more UGC, they need more founder content, and they're trying to basically fit an angle into the format, which is why they end up with like 40 ads that look really good. So they'll basically be trying to shoehorn their angles into a specific format, like an organic format or a competitor ad, and the ads look great, but they don't perform. And that's something we see all the time. And honestly, now we're seeing ads done much quicker after Andrometer, just because it's so good at telling if this ad's a winning ad or not. So it gets really difficult when it comes to actually, having to have a consistent flow of ad creatives. That's why brands work with us, so we can basically remove that founder bottleneck and consistently add new winning ads into the ad account, test different angles, creative formats that are quite difficult to make without needing the founder, the team's input. That's really what we help with. But we took a brand from about 235k per month in revenue up to 750k per month in revenue with a bunch of our winning ads. And really one of the biggest things for these guys was our process where we went into their customer reviews, we found personas that they hadn't reached yet and mapped this to creative formats that they hadn't tried yet, and also basically took winning angles and tested them in proven formats, and then the systems to consistently do this. So you don't have to rely on like motivation or people really trying their hardest. Basically, let's create these systems and people follow these, and these systems are designed to make winning ads. And that's how you get that compounding effect, and that can you can grow quite quickly. And that was about 120 days as well that took. And a lot of the time brands will buy winning ads and they'll have a winning ad in the ad account, but they just won't have a process to recreate it. They'll just be trying random stuff. They'll just give scripts to creators without much thought. They won't have the time to understand their customers, and they'll struggle to make ads that talk to their actual customers just because they either don't have the time or they don't have the experience to do it. But the thing is, I mentioned that brand there. We also did this for a brand that was spending $15,000 a month on Meta ads, and we basically took their customer data that they do have. They were relying on a few handful of ads, basically just giving scripts to influencers, and we did that exact same process, used their customer data, mapped it to different personas, consistently tested that, and over a 7-month period we took them to 400k per month in ad spend. Now the reason that I tell you that is because this can work for small brands too. It doesn't really matter the budget, this process stays the same. From different industries to different budgets, the process actually stays the same. And the reason that these brands can get to 400k, $1 million a month in ad spend is because they built these systems first. And the only real gap between brands now that like flatlining, ROAS is going down or staying the same, and they can't scale ad spend without the fear of ROAS dropping. The only real difference now is the creative, because perception is reality. Like your customer doesn't actually know what your product has, how good your product is until they receive it. All they can see is your ad and your landing page. So the only difference really is those two things. And in our creative planning call, that's what we really help you map out: new potential angles, creative formats that are going to elevate your brand, and how we can map this to awareness level so you can begin scaling your ad spend and not having to worry about ROAS just completely falling off a cliff. So if you want my team to go ahead and do that for you, click the first link in the description below, book a call, and we'll show you the angles we test, the formats we test, how we build these systems out. And this is the exact same system as those two case studies that I just mentioned as well, where we helped a brand grow from 15k to 400k per month in ad spend, and another brand grow from 235k to 750k in revenue in just 120 days. So if you want to see the whole thing in action, how we go from a blank page to a full creative package ready for a brand, then I'll break that down in the video on screen right here. I'll see you in the next one.